Hey Jan, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
All good. How is college going?
I'm sorry, give me a second.
Sure.
Hello?
Yeah,
Okay, there we go. Did you ask me how college was doing?
yeah.
Pretty good so far. Last time we talked, I was in the middle of like doing a research position, and I just finished that, and I can say that I learned a lot, to be honest. I learned a lot about like AWS, everything like EC2, Lambda, CloudWatch, S3, and like how to link all of those together, which is I was testing out how to link like a single S3 bucket to multiple Lambda functions using SNS.
Right.
And it turns out that's a lot of work. So it's just easier to do like a tinier workaround using like the command line instead. So
Yes, yes.
learned a lot
I
through
I remember the days
the
like I was
research.
at Amazon initially, and yeah, the SMS you use like there was SMS, then SQS. I used Lambda, S3, EC2. So all that came
Yeah,
back to me.
there's a lot.
How well these systems are created. You just don't need to know about them, right? These are like highly efficient and highly scalable systems. You just need to know about what system is needed where, and you just need
Yes.
to enable that and point each system to one another. So it just makes your easy and your use cases, like every company has their different use cases, right? Every project has different use cases. So it's just this cloud services makes your whole systems so easy to maintain. Of course, they charge you for that. Of course, they have spent like 20 years into that, how to develop those things, and of course, they are going to charge. But yeah, still for students, it's cheap, and I think they give you some credits also to use. And of course, you don't want to you don't require high volume of data, right? You just want to experiment around with things and see how it's going. So yeah, these kind of things really fasten the process of experimenting around things, because otherwise you need to invest a lot of efforts and to build these kind of system where if you want to experiment with some things, like you said, SMS, right? Messaging service.
Oh yeah.
So I remember using it in our projects when I was at Amazon. So yeah, you have to know when to use an SMS and when to use an SQS, right?
Definitely. Looked at like the SQS things, and I was like, whoa, there's so many S's. Everything has an S in the name. So funny. Well, yeah. I
So
actually,
what the project was about?
uh, at first I thought the project was about like building your own like framework, for like doing the whole uh, we were doing like model serving. So
Hmm.
you have to serve that model somewhere so that people can like trigger the endpoint. I'm not sure if I'm using that, but trigger
And
the function. Yeah. So I thought we were going to be building a whole new like framework, and I was a little intimidated at first, but gladly we're using AWS instead, which I personally like better since you familiarize yourself with like AWS, which is this like super advanced, and like everything you said just now, like this really cool platform. So I'm really glad about that. But we basically tested out different ways of serving a model, whether it's like by EC2, by Lambda, like which is faster, which is better. It's
service.
improving performance more or less. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. Um, where should I send you my resume, by the way? Because I haven't
Oh,
made
you should
not
have
sure.
my email address, right?
Your email?
You should
Okay.
have my, yeah, yeah. You can just shoot your email on my email address. Otherwise, I can mention over here my LinkedIn ID also. So uh, I think I'm not sure, but let me just check what my LinkedIn ID is. Just give me a second. Huh?
No problem. I need a second too.
Just finding that option where to from. Okay, share profile via. Here I have this Gmail chat. Yep, I have pinged you on chat only. Okay,
I
because
see
this
that.
chat will get lost. So that is kind of permanent. Not permanent, but it retains for 1 month, so it should be fine. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you can send me your resume. Anything in general you wanted to ask about your resume or anything about resume building?
uh, no, not really. I actually researched like quite a bit into like building your own resumes, and right now, um, I know that like my format for once you see my resume, you'll see that like my format is not like what every employer wants to do. I just have that format just for like my own eyes, if that makes sense. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Do you see the resume I sent you through your email?
Uh, just give me a second. Huh?
Okay, for sure. I sent you a connection on LinkedIn too.
Okay, yeah, found it. Okay, let me just open that so that I can share it with you. Mm, just a second. Okay, so okay, you have written your professional experience, machine learning. Okay, developed a serverless framework for machine learning. Okay, I think this serverless means Lambda only, right?
Yeah.
Okay, utilize the TensorFlow framework. Okay, TensorFlow is Google's AI
I
or no,
think so. Yeah, I think so.
right? I have not worked much on ML, but I think it might be a different thing on developers Google Brain team. Yeah, it is developed by Google.
Yeah.
So right, nice. Teamed with Nokia Bell Labs machine learning and research division. Okay, so over here where you have mentioned teamed with Nokia Bell's machine learning and research division, right? So try to explain what you learned or what basically you did in this, right? With this
Okay.
collaboration. Okay. So as an recruiter, I need to know what your skills are, right? What you learned or what you did. Okay. So teamed with Nokia Bell machine learning and research division, but is it part of the whole project or okay?
So basically, they had. I actually wrote this before I started the position. So
Okay.
some of this is just like my inferences, but most of it is like true. That part is when I was looking at the project, they said that they were doing that this project was in collaboration with Nokia Bell Labs, and they only had appointments or not appointments but meetings with them at like midnight. Because they're all the way in Europe. I think Germany, I think, but I'm not sure where. But either way, they're in Europe, so it's like
Mhm.
a huge time zone difference.
Right,
And
right.
so I wanted to attend one of their meetings there, but I just couldn't. I didn't have the time to. Like I
No,
just
no.
kept on putting it back, so I think I'm gonna take that off.
Yeah, so it could be said like if you want to emphasize that you worked across time zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that could be emphasized upon, like you work team with Nokia Bell Labs machine learning and research division, or how will you phrase it? So basically my point is you can emphasize on that, but yeah, I think there would be much better things to use this space, right? Because
Yeah, exactly.
this is one page, right? You have to impress someone with this limited and compact format, right?
Mm-hmm. Be
So
effective.
yeah, be effective, exactly. Okay, so yeah, so this is the project you were talking about, right? And
Yeah.
uh, you should mention AWS, that you
Oh
worked
yes,
with
definitely, definitely.
technologies. What all technology? You said EC2, right? SMS, then Lambda. So someone would be right, uh, really impressed that okay, yeah, uh, you know about AWS and how to use the framework around it, right? So if there is some companies who are already who on the AWS infrastructure, right? They will keep this as a plus point. So they will see, okay, you have good, based on the interview, right? They will say that okay, this is they will test your knowledge, and even before that. So when the recruiters are filtering the resumes, right, they have some requirements that okay, need a Java developer, right? Or need someone who has worked with AWS or some cloud infrastructure or anything. So while filtering these kind of things, they if a recruiter is finding someone who has expertise in AWS, right, that will help your resume to filter out and get an interview at least, right?
Definitely.
So do mention it. Uh, okay, so this is the project you were talking about, right? But you said that you wrote this before completion of that project, right? Research project.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's a
machine
little
learning.
outdated, but I can like everything on the first two bullet points is about like 90% true.
Mhm,
I didn't actually get to work with a supercharger with a GPU because we were only on the AWS free tier, which doesn't allow that.
mhm.
So but we did do like some batching stuff, which was pretty cool. I didn't know about that beforehand, so I will emphasize those types of things and like what we found out and stuff.
Sure. And this service champion Taco Bell. So yeah, so process financial transactions daily in a fast-paced environment for a multi-billion-dollar company as an essential worker. So okay, you process finance transaction, but from a recruiter point of view, what exactly can I see that there are skills for you, right? Either you processed, how did you process that? Did you create a service? You wrote APIs, right?
Oh,
Or
I was so for this one I was actually just working in fast food.
mhm.
Yeah, so I'm like a cashier. They just called
Okay,
us
okay.
service
So sorry,
champions.
so sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
I went into that technical bit where I thought that you are processing the financial transactions in a server, basically. So sorry. Yeah.
No, it's fine.
So
It's
you
fine.
need to, yeah, you need to specify that your role, right? You are written service champion. Service, when you write service, I thought you were talking about a like API service, some kind of thing. Okay.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
it
I
might
didn't
be
know about that like
might
yet.
be like a regional difference to understand these kind of things,
Yeah.
because we don't have these kind of terms over it, like service champion on things. But yeah, it might be helpful if you can use some kind of
Some
words
service
which.
champion.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, so yeah,
Okay.
okay. Languages you have mentioned: C++, Python, Java, great. Tools: Git, Linux. Then frameworks and library, and then tools like write about AWS also over here. Okay.
Definitely.
What is 120 WPM?
Wait, what for AWS, would that be in tools or frameworks and libraries? I'm guessing tools, like you said though, right?
Framework and libraries. Yeah, it will be a tool.
Tool. Okay, cool. Just making sure. WPM is a shortcut for the words per minute, like when you're typing.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
If it is a common term understood by the recruiters, then it should be fine. Otherwise,
Yeah, it's
because
a
it's a
pretty
digital
common
one,
term.
you can add a link over here also, right? If someone wants to, or you have space over here, right?
Yeah.
You can write okay words per minute. I'm not sure how important it is
Not at
for a
all, in my
technical role.
opinion. I'm just like
Yeah,
filling out space.
yeah. So yeah, that is the thing. You have to like I'll share my resume also. I'll go through that, and I talk about how I have like mentioned everything I have done because I have work experience, so I have many more things to write about the projects I worked on. So I'll show. I'll get to that in a bit. Okay. Interest PC building. Okay, so you have manually assembled a personal computer.
Yeah, I've like assembled around like five-ish, and
Hmm.
I wanna do a sixth one, rebuilding my own one right now into a smaller one.
Okay, okay. And then mechanical keyboard. So you have like one of my teammates is really passionate about it, and he doesn't use the Mac or even Google provides you a separate keyboard, but he doesn't like it. He has a custom made or some specific
It's probably
mechanical
custom made.
keyboard. Yeah, he is very like productive with it, and it's a very small keyboard.
Oh
It
yes,
doesn't
yes,
have
yes.
that. So I'm really impressed that okay, yeah, he knows what he needs to be productive, right? And that is also very important. You need to know what makes you productive, right? Some people don't know about it, so they just keep on doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
They don't have that growth mindset kind of thing where you try to find things which make you more productive or more impactful, right? So I'm really impressed with the small things when people find it. One feedback over here is these are too many interests. Okay, again you said that you are filling in the space, but it's fine. But I was jailbreaking. Okay, that shouldn't be over here. Okay. Okay. That is an illegal thing, right?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, but still
There's things
it's
that you
not.
can do that's illegal,
Yeah,
but it's not
if
really
you
that.
want to apply to Apple, definitely it isn't. It is a good thing to write over here. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, but shorten it like three or four max should be over here, right?
Okay. I was planning to do that as like so there's like not much white space when I get like more experience. I just like tone it down to because what I the top three things there, which is PC, mechanical mech keyboard, and probably chess. Yeah,
Okay.
probably chess. Um, I was planning to shorten it down because like there's if you scroll down a little bit, there's like a lot more white space at the bottom.
Yes, yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
As you'll do more
Get
projects
more.
and learn about it,
Yeah.
but you have to emphasize on what you exactly did and what you learned from it. Okay,
Mhm.
so professional experience and the projects are very important in a resume. These things. Okay.
So do you think I should put projects above education in this case, or
Yes, the
okay,
thing you did the latest should be on the top. Okay,
okay?
education at
No,
the
like my
no, no, it's
projects.
fine to put education also. It's fine because at the starting of the career, it's fine to put it on the education on the top. It because many recruiters go through that to see okay because they want the creamy layer, right? They want to use the top college, and University of Nevada is good, right? Reputed, right? So it definitely adds value, but I think this is fine. Not a it don't need to put up and down, but it's fine. Okay, you have mentioned the computer science engineering. Okay, 2025. It's a 4 year course.
Yes, but
Okay,
I do graduate in like 3 years because I just took like a lot of classes in high school. We have this thing in the high school where we can take college classes while in
okay,
high school. So I basically took enough for years of classes in high school so that I graduate early by a year.
okay, okay.
Not sure if that makes too much sense.
Yeah, so there is like a difference in how colleges work in US versus India.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have some idea about it from sitcoms basically and movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get your point. There are courses. See, in India, basically there are fixed courses and fixed uh, points. Like you have those points, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I'm not sure what points are called, but
I
okay,
think it's
anyway.
called credits here, I think,
Yes,
but I'm not
credits.
sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, credits. I was talking about credits only. So, but they are fixed. Like in US, I know that there are many options and many flexibilities that you can select less credits in first year or more credits in the first year. You can take a gap of sem and those kind of things, right? But in India, it's fixed. You
Yeah.
have 8 credits in a sem, and a sem is for 6 months, and courses are also fixed. Only in the final and the third year and the fourth year you have some electives, but the cumulative of all the electives should is all does also comes to the 8 credits only. But I know that in US there are many flexibilities. You can extend by 1 year, or you can finish college earlier also, right? By
Yeah.
taking more credits.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
yeah, it's a great thing that you had that kind of flexibility. And because some people like are really hardworking and want to get faster there, right? And some people want to go at their own pace. They want their time for their hobbies and side projects and everything. So I think it's really great that you give that flexibility to the student, and they can grow in what direction they want to grow in. That is why many people in US drop out of college also, right? They will select some credits, they do something on the side, and what they are doing on the side works, and they drop out of college. That is okay. I know what I need to do, and my thing is working. So really like that kind of.
Yeah. No,
In
yeah.
India, you are doing a course, then you don't get much time to do side things and stuff like that. Except internships, you get 2 month break where you can do some kind of internships, but you really don't get those kind of opportunities where you can explore things. And like 95% go through that college degree. I think the drop rate would be much higher in US. uh, but yeah, in India, like hardly 5%. 5% would be also very high. I'm talking about 2 or 3% dropout. Otherwise, everyone goes through complete college. Anyways, uh, so 4 GP on a scale of 4.0, right?
Yeah.
It's mean 100%.
Yes.
Okay. I thought GPA was out of 5 in US.
Oh no, it's out of
That's
four. It's
different.
out of five in the UK, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have got A plus in all the subjects.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Uh, what is this? BS in progress? Bachelor's in something?
Yeah. I wanted to ask. I was not sure like how to specify that, or should I just remove that like it's in progress? Like I'm
What
not
is
sure
the
if
full
it's
form of
obvious.
BS?
What's up?
What's the full form of BS?
Bachelor's of Science.
Bachelor's in Science. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I saw in some resumes I was looking at that they had that. So I'm not sure if it's appropriate to have that because it says that the graduation date is June 2025. So it's also obvious that um I haven't graduated it yet by that. So I'm not sure if I should make it more
Yeah,
transparent
I
by
think
putting
you can
that.
skip. Yeah, you can skip it. It's
Okay.
understood that even if you are applying for a job in 2024, like, or an internship. Like currently your focus is on internships, right? So it's obvious that okay, you are going to graduate in 2025, so you can remove this.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Jumpstart student, Truckee Meadows Community College. Okay. So what is Jumpstart student? Sorry, I'm not very familiar with the terms.
Oh no, I'm not sure. That's it's not a common term too. I think it's just what Truckee, the community college, like calls us. I wasn't really sure. But basically, if you look down there, it says like enrolled in college classes during high school.
Okay,
I was basically just it's like my high school
got it,
thing.
got it.
I'm not sure. I plan to remove that later on when I have more
No,
projects.
no, it should be fine. Not a bad thing to write. Definitely fine. Do mention about this program,
Oh
TechWise.
yeah, and I was really wondering, like during this meeting, I was gonna ask you like how to mention that because I have that under courses right below projects, TechWise supported by Google. I'm not sure how to write that in. Do I like write that into education or professional experience or projects? I'm not really sure how to make it known that I've done this thing.
Okay, so you can. It's a technical program, right? Support program. So, but you can mention what all you went through to get this course, right?
What do you mean
So
by that?
there. So how did you apply to this course, right? Did you just fill a form and you got it? No, right? There would have been some processes by Google, right? Or
Oh,
by
right.
TechWise.
The assessments. Yeah.
Sorry.
We had these assessments where there's these two tests. The tech there was the technical test, which is like
Right,
code palindromes and like stuff like that. And then there was the like the how much can you learn, which is like
right,
just how
right.
good is your brain test, basically.
So as a recruiter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay, TechWise supported by Google, but I have no idea what it
Yeah,
is
no
about.
idea. Yeah, I was
Right?
so confused on how to write that into.
So first thing is you can add a link, right, to the TechWise homepage
Mm-hmm.
where someone who is interested can find all the information related to it. But 90% or 95% of the recruiters don't have time. They will look at your resume for 30 to 45 seconds at
Yeah, I
max.
heard about the, like the 15-second rule. You have like
Right,
15 seconds to
right.
impress them.
So you have 15 seconds to impress them, right? So it would be nice if you could write 2 lines about it. Okay, what this is about. Okay, but it once this course finishes, then you will have more data points around what you learned from this. Okay, and secondly how you went through it, right? Like how you got selected. So you can write, okay, went through 3 rounds of this blah blah blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And uh, then had a one-on-one session or an interview. Did you had one interview?
A very short one with Indira.
Okay, okay. So yeah, you can mention about it, right? So
Would
cleared.
that be appropriate in a resume though? Since like what you said, it's likely they're not gonna read that and they're just gonna skim it over. So maybe that space
But
should be
it
used for.
it's like an internship you can kind of thing, right? So not an
Oh,
internship,
okay.
but you did qualifies for something, right? There is something called ACM ICPC, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest international competitive programming platform. So even selecting for the first round is a big thing. There are 3 rounds over there, but even passing one round of it, because it selects only one team from the whole college. Okay, so even mentioning that about that gives a good impression that okay, you cleared 1 round of ACM ICPC, which is international level of coding competition, right? Given that people are aware of it, again, otherwise you'll have to link something to it so that people can, if people are interested, they can go through it and understand. Otherwise, among the competitive programming world, it's quite famous. So recruiters technically or ideally should know about it. But yeah, this tech wise, until and unless I was this program was launched by Google. I was not aware of this. Okay, it's not very famous, so it's fine. You can say that okay, went through couple of round of coding interviews and blah blah blah, and selected for TechWise, which is programs sponsored by Google or something like. I'll have to think about it also, but I can get back to you later on that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. I definitely need some help, like knowing where to put that. Do you think I should, like what you said, it's like an internship, but it's not really. Do you think I should put that in professional experiences or education?
I think it's better to put in education, not a
Education.
professional experience.
Okay.
Professional experience is like you mentioned, you worked on a something, right? You build
Yeah.
something. Over it, we are helping each other, or some basically trying to help you prepare for interviews or your professional life, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a course only. Like you have machine learning course, right? It's not an internship. You are learning about it. You are but not working technically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it should be fine under the heading courses. Data structure and algorithms, again, very generic, right? Very vague.
Very.
I'm not finding it very helpful, right? Okay, you are a software engineer. You are going through computer science engineering. You are expected to work
Yeah.
on algorithm.
Okay.
Even if you don't have that, then okay, that's a big problem. Okay,
Okay,
so
that makes sense. Do you want to look
as
at like after that? Do you look at the projects? Because we skimmed over that for a second.
sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, project.
Oh yeah, projects afterwards.
Okay, so the hackathon 2022 project during a 24-hour time crunch, I led it a team. Led it is the right term. I led a team.
I
I
lead it.
think leaded is right. I think it led.
Oh yeah.
Lead,
Huh.
I
Yeah, I
think
led.
I might be wrong,
No.
but
You do have a good point. I will look into that.
I think it led is past only, so I think it should be fine. You get my point, right? I led a team of 5 members, not led it a.
Yeah. I
Okay.
was. I'm looking at that right now. It seems you are right.
Yeah, because I've also written in my performance review, I led a team of 4 members. So that is why. Okay. That is why this is called proofreading. Okay. So there shouldn't be typo errors or like language grammar errors. So because again, you have
Yeah.
15 seconds. In 15 seconds, if you find grammar or something, it kind of gives a negative impression. Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
You have to learn a new to us game engine. Okay. RenP. Again, add a link. If
Okay.
someone is interested, they can find more information about it, thus creating a story packed visual novel that won people's choice about. Okay, led a team of 5 members. That is good information. Okay, that shows leadership skills. To learn a new to us game engine, RenPy, but still doesn't give me much information what you did as part of the project. Okay, you learned a new to us game engine, but what you did after learning about it, right? So you have to like drill down little technical, get technical among it, like what exactly did you work on, right? Did you, is this a language, is this a game engine only, right?
Yeah.
But there would be some kind of coding or something you did, right?
Yeah.
So what language you used,
It
what
was
did you do exactly? Did you build an API, or you wrote some business logic, or you did some front end work, right?
uh-huh. Okay. The Pi and RenPy is like for Python.
Mm-hmm.
But the game engine is like it packs your game for you already. So you just need to write like a few lines of code to have like a front end, I guess.
Okay.
And yeah, okay. I'll definitely think about how to phrase that more, like
Mm-hmm.
with what you said about like the front end, back end writing stuff.
Right, right. Web Audio Manager designed a simplistic audio manager that can manipulate audio in a web format without the metadata. Manipulate audio. How? So it's not very clear to me what is the goal of this project, right? Manipulate audio in a WAV format. What do you mean by manipulate audio?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that actually. So basically, we learned how to make an echo, how to like do a gain volume, lower volume, normalize the volume, and stuff like that. So I wanted to ask you like, how do I put that in nicer terms rather than just saying like all of that, since that takes a ton of space. I feel like if I just say, oh, I made an echo, normalize, gain, adjust, a lower volume, it's like a few lines right there.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you like,
I'll
how should I
show
say it?
you my resume.
Okay.
Okay. See how much information I have added regarding each project. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, okay, this was my first company. Okay. So this was my internship. You have you heard about Geeks for Geeks?
Oh yeah, we actually talked about that
Oh yeah,
last
we
time.
talked about it.
Yeah, Geeks for Geeks is like my favorite thing ever.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
super good. I learned so much
So
through it.
awesome. So the first thing about it is you write it in the reverse order. The latest thing should be on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the oldest thing related to that is in the over here. So this is my school, high school and high school. This is my intermediate, which is 10 plus 2. I'm not sure, there are different terms for in US
Yeah, I
used.
have no
Okay.
idea what that means.
So you have class 5, 6, 7, 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have 9 and 10, and then or that becomes high school.
Oh, grades. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you have grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, no,
Till
that makes
when?
sense.
What is high school? High school is grade 9, 10, or
9, 10, 11, 12. Since we have 12 years of schooling here
yes,
before
so it is also for
before we go
me.
to
Like
college.
class
Okay.
10 is 10 and class 12 is 12. So we have
Mm-hmm.
12 years of school. So, but it's not high school or anything. It's like, or class 10 is called high school in India, and
Mm-hmm.
class 12 is called intermediate, or I think it's called higher school or something. What is grade 12 called?
Grade 12 is called a senior year for us. It's
Okay,
just
senior.
yeah, it's just grade 12. There's not
Okay,
much. It's in high school for us.
okay, okay. So as you can see, because I have to focus more on this, I've just written, okay, my high school, what was the percentage, where did I do from, which year, okay. Then in when did I did my 12th, again from the same school, which was the board, and then what was the percentage, and then one line of my college, just one line,
Okay.
okay. Of course, in your case, I can show. I'm not sure if I have like what was the resume I made when I was in college. Okay. I'll try to find it and share with you because that is more relevant to you. But I just want to focus on how I have mentioned what is my expertise. Okay. So
Do you know
this is
what
all.
size font this is, by the way?
Sorry.
Do you know what size font that is, by the way?
Uh, Let me check. I think it is 10.
Okay.
Okay. So see, font size, it's, yeah, I understand from what you have written, it might be a little bigger, but yeah, I have created a two-page resume also, but again, then I filtered a lot of information and then decreased the volume. Just made it a one pager. Okay. I think it might be 9 or 10. Okay, but do you think it's non-readable? If I print it out, I think it's because I printed it out and it's readable. Okay, but on a physical machine, like on a digital version, anyone can zoom out, right? If
Yeah.
I zoom in, now it's huge font, right? If I decrease it, this is the whole page. So currently, I think most of things happen digitally, right? So it shouldn't be very small, but I think this should be fine. Okay. So, and I have mentioned the dates from when to when I have worked in where. Okay, so I started from an intern at Geeks or Geeks, then did internship at Amazon, then did a 2 years full time development at Amazon, and then switched. to software development engineering 2 at SIGFIG, and then basically came to Google. So I hadn't get a chance to update my resume because I don't I'm not looking for a switch right now. But if I want to move to another company, then I basically have to update it and basically reduce data from here, from my internship, because this is less relevant than this, right?
Did you take your internship data off?
Yes. So instead of three line, like currently there are one, two, three, four, five, 6 lines. I'll try to reduce this to 2 lines.
2 lines? Okay.
Yeah, this over here I mentioned one line basically, and
Okay.
what I did at Google, and I'll have to reduce some content over here and here also, because
Mm, okay.
so I have to make whatever is most impactful, and I have what I did at Google also, right? So it might be possible that, okay, there I've mentioned 3 projects over here. I think, okay, this is the most important one, this is the second one, this might not be very relevant, so I can reduce this one. Okay. Or otherwise, if I think I'm doing a lot of work, then it should be fine to do a 2-page resume also. I have seen some highly successful people who have worked over 20 years, right? They have a 6-page resume because they have done so much work, right? In 20 years, they have done so much work. Of course, they have to mention it somewhere. But yeah, of course, they are. Of course, if you have 20 years of experience, people are already. You don't have to look out for anyone. People are looking out for you also, because as you go higher, the there are less people over there at that level, right? Because software development was not such a big thing 20 years ago, right? So now if someone is there with 20 years of experience, that is something. So people are always, big companies are always looking out for such experiences. But yeah, people like to mention one line, and instead I've like explained a lot of things, but they line one line, they say, okay, Alexa director, director of Alexa. There is recently someone who came from Amazon to Google, and I was looking at their LinkedIn profile, and they mentioned Alexa director, responsibilities, blah blah blah, and build blah blah blah. In just 2 lines, they have impressed the whole journey, like expressed their whole journey of Amazon, 5 years of Amazon, what they did, and just a 2 line is sufficient to see, okay, this man is a director of Alexa, right? Alexa is such a big thing, right? And if he's a director, that just Alexa, comma director is sufficient for anyone to understand uh, how impactful and how good that employee is, right? That candidate is. So, okay, just to quickly go through, I'm part of the investment management. This can also be no one is mostly uh, interested in like, okay, what part of your team was, but just to explain that investment management team so that people can understand I'm in the fintech world. Okay. Then I wrote database migration. Okay. So I have to explain, okay, database migration, what exactly I did. Okay. So we have target portfolios, which was maintained via TSV files, right? We have like CSV files. You know about CSV files?
Oh yeah.
Comma separated values, right? So TSV is tab separated. Okay. So we were having all those configuration in TSV files. I moved it to database, created APIs around it and a dashboard around it, so that the operational team who have to do everything on a TSV, they can just simply use the dashboard now or the self-service tool to make the changes. So it really made it simpler for them to uh, do their daily operations, right? So so I have mentioned over there, okay, this is the migration what I've done. I've created APIs around the data to manage the same, and then created the dashboard, right, by business team, thereby reducing code changes and dependency on development team. Okay. So I have mentioned what I did, how I did, and what was the impact, right? Thereby reducing code changes and dependency on the development team to update target portfolios. So basically, earlier the business team used to come to engineering and say, okay, make this update, make this update, make this update. But because I made this dashboard and move it to database and created APIs around it, they can self manage it. So they don't come to engineering now. So
Okay.
there are two benefits. They don't have to ask anyone, right? Now, and the engineering bandwidth is also reduced. Now I was doing operational work, right? which were told to me by them, and then I do it, then they verify it, and then I commit it, right? There was so much flow, so many operational flows, right? Now they can do it themselves. They are responsible for me. They are not dependent on me, so their works get faster because they used to be in the US and we used to be in India, right? So there is already a cross time zone issue. So just in this two line, I have to mention what I did, how I did it, and then what was the impact. Okay, it's called the star format, or there is one more term where you first start with the problem statement, what was the issue, then the second is how you solved it, and third is what was the impact of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Similarly, import target portfolios, designed a spreadsheet which would take as input as all data required to create and update a target portfolio in a single file, created new APIs which would accept the file, implement the spreadsheet parser in the backend with all the validation integrated with it, with the existing management flow. This made now the impact part. This made the management of target portfolios a lot simpler for the business team, thereby reducing effort at their end. So again, in the similar format, okay, I will ask you as a feedback, what do you make out of it? Are you understanding exactly what I am trying to say over here, uh, or everything it's looking a very vague thing?
At first, it looks very big, and you have to like read it. So
Hmm.
let me like read it one more time.
Hmm.
You're very like concise with like what you did. The only thing like I would do different, but I'm not sure how relevant that would be.
No, no,
Would be
definitely.
like
So everyone has a different style. Yeah, so sure, go ahead. Yeah.
building like created new APIs and like but in like yeah like building like some specific stuff that looks impressive. That's like impressive to me since I'm like I don't know much stuff, but yeah. It's very concise and you're like telling a lot with like small lines, which is very cool.
Yeah.
And I like how with like import target and downstream automation,
Hmm.
I was looking at this one resume from LinkedIn who's the same year as me, but she's an intern at Meta already. And I was looking at her resume, and her resume was like blocks, like yours, kinda, I guess. So you see how like your it says dashboard front end, but that's like all the way at the end of the line. As compared to on database migration, it says target portfolios, but that ends in the middle of the line. I'm like,
Hmm.
I was really impressed with hers because she worded it like exactly so it takes up as much space as possible. And like seeing this right now, it's like almost the same as that, but um, and it's very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, of course, I'm personally, I speak for myself, I'm not very good at writing these kind of things. Okay. So it has taken over the years, many years, and like I started with the most, like I don't care about the space and everything. I just want to see how, if I have to explain someone using as fewest word as possible, let's start with it. I don't care about the words also in the first phase. I just write it out. Okay, I did this. Okay. Then I think about, okay, what is the most important part of this? Like it might be when I started writing this, it might be 8 lines, right? Then I have to think about what part of it is important, what I need to say is like created new APIs, right? And then spreadsheet parser, this is important, that okay, you have a data in spreadsheet, right? You have to parse that data in a particular format and then uh, integrate it with the backend, right? With all the validations and integrations and with the existing management flow. So you have to choose your words, you have to cut down sentences. So that is all part of the learning process, of course. Like I said, after 5 years of experience, I built this resume. And I've also taken help from many of people, like, okay, can you review this resume, can you tell me what I can do differently. And I have tried to emphasize on that I have worked on both front end and back end. Okay, so I have over here also I write trading dashboard. Whenever it's dashboard is UI work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So over here I also mentioned that okay, I worked on the dashboard also, in the back end also I designed also, right? So try to mention small features which I want to explain. Okay, so someone who is reading as a recruiter, right, would say that okay, he designed also something, then he created the backend work also, and then did these kind of validations, integrations, and then he worked on the front end also. So it kind of says okay, this is a full stack engineer. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then the downstream automation, again similar kind of things. Over here, this is a good example. Okay, this is a purchase order management system. Okay, design complete architecture of the system. This is a good thing to mention. Design the architecture of the system. This is a good designing thing. When you are in software development, you start with coding, you code a lot of things, but soon you have to show your design skills also. Designs comes where similar to like you are working with AWS, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to choose between the different components which is provided by AWS, right? So, okay, you have created a Lambda will interact with an SMS will uh, interact with a database or a S3 file server, right? So you have to design the whole system. What component will talk with what other components, right? And what will you do if something fails in this? Because everything, because ultimately it's a system, right? Something can go wrong. Even in AWS, they say never say 100%. They say 99.93% uptime. Okay, or 99.993%. So they say like in 10,000 day, there might be one day which that S3 might go down, and it has happened. When I was at Amazon, something went wrong with the AWS S3, and 25% of the global internet, right, went down. Because at that time, all the companies and all the softwares, even Netflix is on AWS, right? And Cora is on AWS, and so many services are on AWS. So if AWS S3 server went down, all the dependent companies and all the thing, everything went down. So around 25% of the global companies. So can you see the impact, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So and
I
similarly,
remember.
that happened at Google also. In YouTube has went down, right? Recently there was an outage in Meta where for a 24 hours WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook were down. So but you have to find a contingency plan. What if something went wrong? What you have to do? You have to think about it. Okay, that come in the designing part, designing the architecture. Okay, what component will talk with the what component, and if something went wrong in this component, how will you recover that data? There shouldn't be data loss. There should be process in a place that if something goes wrong, once the system is up, everything should come back into the same state, right? So this is an important thing to mention. Design the complete architecture of the system, including integration with multiple PO source systems. Okay, providing both synchronous is the APIs, and asynchronous, which is a worker channels, to ingest a PO into the database. Design the Dynamo database. Again, now I've shown my experience with DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL. Okay, DynamoDB is also a AWS feature, database storage facility. I think you should have might have heard about Aurora. Aurora is well,
Oh wait,
right?
no, not just like once or twice. I thought you were gonna say DynamoDB. Yeah.
uh, World is moving towards NoSQL because storage is cheap. So again, that is a different kind of discussion. But yeah, so I've mentioned again, I've designed the system, then designed the DynamoDB, which including out-of-box locking and transactional mechanism at the application layer. So these kind of things make an impact. Okay, you design the DynamoDB, you thought about locking and transactional. So in database transaction is very important. right? You might have a single API which is interacting with three different tables, right? You want to make ensure that either all three of them commit successfully, or neither should of them. It shouldn't be possible. It shouldn't happen that, okay, one table is updated but second one failed, and but the data still remains in the one, because in that case data is in an inconsistent state, right? Because you are, ideally it is expected that all the three tables will be, and these three tables are linked to each other, right? So the expectation is that if there is data in A, then there might be related data in B, right? And then might be related data in C. But if B and C is not there and data is only in A, then the data is in an inconsistent state. So when the application, right, the service or work or whatever you have written is fetching data from the database, it is only getting partial data, and it will run into some error. Okay, so those kind of things has to be taken care of. Again, there might be jargon I'm throwing out to you, but in these kind of things, when recruiters might not be aware of these kind of things, but when the recruiting manager, right, the manager who is looking out for recruiting their team, right, they, if they have experience in technical, then these kind of things really matter. And while during the interview also, when they are going through your resume, okay, they might ask questions about it. Okay, how did you use, you mentioned that you did out of box locking and transaction system, but how did you do it? They can ask more questions on it. Okay,
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
similarly many other things. I'll share this with you. Okay, you
Yeah,
can
I
go
was
through.
gonna ask for that
I'm not
too.
saying this is the only way to build a resume. Okay, is just I found that, okay, this is good amount of information and work which I've did, uh, which is important to illustrate. Okay, so this is how. So that is one thing I would say, that in your resume, try to mention what exactly you did, right? What technologies you did, what APIs did you made, or did you worked on front end, back end, right? Do try to mention it. Uh, Reduce this. Okay, 2 3 is maximum, is fine. This is fine. Yeah, actually it's fine for an initial resume. Volunteering, it's good. But I would say that the main thing is this: projects and professional experience. You
Mm-hmm.
need to add more information around what you did, how you did, and what was the impact. Whether you did automation which increased the revenue, or reduce the burden, reduce the expenses, right? There is a team of 10 people who are doing something manually. You created a system which is basically automating that manual work, right? So you can say, okay, we reduce the expenses by this much. Okay, or you automated something yet, or you reduce the latency of some system, or what you call, mm, you somehow did something which improved the revenue of the company, right? Or some process were taking 2 to 3 hours of work, you created a system and reduced it to 2 minutes, right? So these kind of impact is also very important to tell. You worked on machine learning, right? How that models which you were working on, how did you train those models, right? And what was the final impact of training those models, and uh, how did it reduce the manual work, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is machine learning is mainly for automation, right? You want to do more things automatically instead of doing manually, right? So you have to tell about what, even if it was research work, right? In the research work, what research did you do, right? So impact is also very important, and what you did is also very important, right? Even if my resume, where I was doing what you call internship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned that I published a couple of articles. That is good. I updated and customized the web template of Google and gave it a complete new look. And I mentioned it. Okay, this is how it looked earlier, and this is how it looks now. Why are these links not working? Okay, not good. Okay, then suggested and added new features like difficulty rating, to-do list, and mark as done. So I'm not sure if you have seen that each article has a difficulty rating, right? On Geeks for Geeks. I'm not sure if you use it frequently or not, but I basically built that rating system, and then basically to-do list because it was a huge requirement. Because as a student, right,
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a list of what questions I want to learn, right? I had to do it manually, but now you can create an account, and within the tool, you can say, okay, this is my to-do list. I want to go through all these solutions, and then basically you don't want to go through again, so you can do mark as done also. So
Okay.
mention what features I built, what kind of things are done, which and I also mentioned that which I personally as a student felt were missing from the platform. So I just didn't build the things, right? Build the features. I thought about what needs to be done as a student, as an experienced person who is using this tool. What were the features missing? And I came up with these features. I talked with the CEO of Geeks for Geeks and told, hey, this is a good thing I think should be added. And we discussed about it, and then they said, okay, nice, let's go ahead with it. So that is also very important, right? Uh, Finding improvement in the existing products, right? Finding bugs in the existing products. So those kind of things can also show that you are an innovation mind, right? Innovative mind and a growth mind, that you want to. It's not that someone is coming to you and saying, okay, build this feature, and you're just building it. You have to think of ways of improving, because that also creates a huge impact and is very important for growth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Again, just to reiterate, just try to focus more on this professional and the projects, and add more information around, like in that format also, what was the problem statement, what you did. Problem statement can be avoided also in case, but you can say, okay, what you did, what you built, and what was the impact of it, right? These two things are important. And you in between you can mention the front end, back end, database, design work, languages, tools which you used, right? So you can mention all those things also. uh
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? I'll share the resume with you. Okay. I think we
When
are,
did you share it by? Email?
I'll share it. I'll say, I said, I'll just reply on the same email, either on the chat or on the email. I will do that.
The chat
I'll,
would be cool.
okay. Is chat remain? We have our chat. June, May. Okay, it remains for 1 month only. I'll email it to you. Okay,
Oh, okay.
because the chat remains for 1 month. So if you are looking out it after a month, it will be lost.
Oh, I
So
didn't know
just
that.
for
That's
your
good to know.
sake, yeah, I think it will be better if I permanently send it to you. Okay. Anything else you want to know about or discuss?
No, not really, actually. Very, I like to talk to you today. Thank you.
Okay. Do think about what you need help with. Okay, and I would like you to pick the topic of our discussion for next meeting.
Okay, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Jan. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. Have a nice day.
Yeah, same to you. Bye.